if we come into Moodle, go to our coursework, digital media content, we'll have to click on it, come down here, and the third assignment, the digital images. You'll see there's a whole lot of videos now for the exercises. You can play them. You have the sound on, or if you switch the sound off, you can hit the subtitles. You should be able to read it and go through it that way. So if I click on the folder, it's going to jump in. We're going to see all these exercises again. But if we go right down to the bottom, we'll see resources. Click the little triangle, and then you can just hit the Instagram ad, and it's going to download it, and it more than likely will pop up within Photoshop. Jump to Photoshop now, and I've got it here. So it has to be something that we're advertising in here. Have to play with the color a little bit and add some text. So at the moment, I've got this file, and this is kind of the background. So as long as we just work on that bottom image, should be fine. So I'm going to go onto the web, go to Google, and type in something I want to find. So it has to be a product of some description. Normal stuff, images, tools, size, large, to make sure we're getting something that's a decent size. Click on this one. It's a big size, so Control, open image in new tab. So I know I'm getting a big image. Click on the plus. Control, save as. Give it a name, put it into the folder you want. Save it, and now I can jump back to Photoshop. Well, actually, before I do, I will put something in. Actually, I might go for a nice landscape shot. Again, I'll go for large just to make sure I've got something good. That looks nice. Or actually, maybe I'll go for this one. Open image, new tab. Looks like it's going to be a massive image. Save image. Right, now I can jump into Photoshop. So on this layer in the background, first thing I'm going to do is open up those images and place them in. So I've got my land and the Hello Kitty. So I'm going to open them both up at once. And so I get the background. Whoops. Instagram ad, and there it is there. So I'll shuffle it around until I get the area that I want. That's good. And now I'll bring in Hello Kitty. I don't need that anymore. I've got this. I can decide whether I want to cut it out, and I'll have a go. Select subject. It's done a pretty good job. I can see there's a few little bits here. Option, and can try cutting them off. Didn't work very well, so I'll show you a different way of doing this. So I'm going to mask it, and I'll just drag that across onto our Instagram ad. Cool, got it there, and it's a good size. Now that I've got that mask, I know that if I get a paintbrush, black is going to block the image, and white is going to show it. So I'll get a hard brush, use the square brackets to make it a bit smaller. As long as I'm on the mask, I can do this. I know that I can just draw around where I think that leg is. I can make the brush smaller and do the same thing here. Make it a bit bigger. So some of those areas that weren't really working out with the selection tool, I can just come in and tidy them up here. Tiny little bit here. If I want to get really fussy, I can kind of take Hello Kitty's just wearing some funny outfit. So I've got this. So what some people have been doing is when they've been editing the text, and you can see all these images, I can just put them in order, and you can see there's this one over the top. So this is it. I can put a bit of text in, so I'll get the type tool, I'll click, I use caps, I can select it all, and then up here I'm going to get the fonts. I'm going to go for something big and dramatic. I can scale it, I can rotate it, I can double click on it and put in a shift return if I want to put them one underneath each other. Scale it a bit more. And I can choose a colour for it, so I can select everything instead of black. I can make it pink, and I can see the text up there. If I really want to, I can go Command J, select bottom one, so I just switch that eye off, and this one I will actually make it black. Didn't have everything selected. Select all, black. Cool. And I can switch the eye on for the top one, and this just means I can use the arrow keys, make it look like a little bit of a shadow. It's all pretty big, so I'm just going to grab both of them with the shift key, Command T, and make it a little bit smaller. Put it there. I won't bother putting a price. What some of the other students were doing, if I go to this top one, they were actually playing around with this text. So all they were doing was putting a square over it. White is my background color, so if I hold Command Delete or Control Backspace on a PC, it'll fill it. Command D to get rid of that selection box, and then I can give it the same kind of text if I want. Hello Kitty, soft toy, and I'll just select all of this. It's a pretty regular font that it had in there before, so I'll give it something that looks a wee bit more regular, and I'll change the size down a bit. Not sure why it all came out as caps. cap's a little bit unusual, so I'll go in and have a look at character. Oh, it's got caps on here for some reason, so I'll just switch that off. Now when I type it, we'll go back to normal. Return, and I'll go give it a price like $576 US. And if I get that, it's just I just can use the leading to bring it down a bit, make the text a little smaller. I can make the choose a font instead of regular. I can choose bold, and if I want, again, make the text a little bit smaller, change the leading, so the space underneath that text, move it into position. Now, one more thing that I'll do here is if I close that, if I go to the Hello Kitty toy, and I'm just going to go Command J, so that duplicates the file, and I'm going to put it all the way up the top. Command T to make it a bit smaller. I'm kind of trying to get it so it fits into that circle, and I'll show you how this works. So I'll just switch that off for a second. I'm going to go onto that layer, and I'm going to make a circle that just covers this one up. So if I pick the circle, I hold down Alt and Shift on a PC, or Option Shift, it will draw a circle, and it will draw it from the center. So I can get that, move it with the arrow keys if I want, and I'm just going to fill it with any colour. I might go for a bright yellow. Option Delete on a Mac, or Alt Backspace because it's the foreground colour. Command D. Now, what I should have done though is made a new layer. So I've gone back to that selection, made a new layer, and this is where I fill it. Command D. So it's on a separate layer sitting above. Now, if I bring that small Hello Kitty above it, I can hold down the Option on a Mac key or Alt on a PC, and see this little arrow pops up between them. If I click it, when the arrow's there, it clips that image into the image below, which is the circle. If I want, on that layer, I can still get the arrow tool, and I can shift it around with the arrow keys, and I can still scale it smaller or bigger, and get it exactly how I want it. I liked it a little bit when it was bigger, so I'm going to take it back to that and just use the arrow keys and get a bit of that yellow at the top. Cool. So there's a few little ways you can play around with that like that. Again, I would save this as a Photoshop file, so you've got an original, and then I would go File, Export, Quick Export as a PNG, because that's the final for the Instagram ad. Instagram ad,